There is no way. There's no way when I'm reading all night long at 4 o'clock in the morning, there is no way you could connect and say, hey, Jeff, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to talk about Arch Manning making a bunch of money, how much Arch Manning helmets could be worth, and Luther Campbell of Two Live Crew. There's no way I would say, well, this, for once I'm sleeping, this must be some weird dream. This is impossible. But I'm happy to tell you the college football landscape and Nico, the former quarterback of Tennessee. Nico is really, really good for my business because the Nico story has taken so many bizarre twists and landing right in the middle of it because of timing is an Arch Manning endorsement deal that somehow, some way allows me to talk about Luther Campbell and Two Live Crew, of which 99.9% of you have no idea who I'm mentioning, and that's okay too. I'm also pretty sure we can't play any of their music for a number of reasons. That's a weird setup. Follow this and good luck to you. There is a free enterprise argument to be made in here somewhere, but here we go. So Arch Manning, who, probably 6 months ago, I asked the question, will this be college football's first $10 million man? And then about a week or two ago, when he signed a new deal with Viore, the clothing line, the athleisure for men, I said, can I correct that, please? Are we about to see the first $20 million college football player? And I think I might change that this week. I know it's still April, and I know the number keeps going up, and I think it's going to keep going up. But can I just change that to maybe $25 million right now? So let's just say, does Texas have the first $25 million college football player? In light of the fact that Nico can't get his going rate of 4, Texas has a guy who's played 2 games, started 2 games worth $25 million. Yeah, I think that's a real number. Jeff, did you mention Two Live Crew? Yeah, I did. And I'm pretty happy about it. I'm happy about it. So Arch Manning reportedly signs another deal. Look, sports merchandise value is what somebody's willing to pay. I'm not in the market for a $1,000 Arch Manning autograph helmet. I'm really not. Maybe you are. But there was a lesson to learn. And, he's been thrown in the mix here. And I think the argument sounds pretty reasonable. Well, yeah. Why is the guy never plays? Why is he making all this money? And Nico, the quarterback at Tennessee, takes them to the playoffs. They get their butt kicked, but he takes them to the playoffs. Nico can't even find $1 million. I'm here to tell you that is precisely the way this was supposed to work. Agree or disagree, like it or dislike it, Arch Manning is exactly what I tried to explain yesterday. The whole model based on the court case was supposed to be only about endorsement deals. Now, we can talk about endorsement deals, and you can be offended or love it any way you want. The market is the market. So there's a giant difference between the problem that Nico is having. Lamelialva. Okay, remember we call him Nico. He's reportedly not able to even find $1 million. He left Tennessee because he had $10 million, but he wants $4 million a year. Tennessee said, we're tapping out, bud. And then North Carolina said, we're tapping out. And so far, nobody has met his price. And reportedly, not surprisingly, Nico's not the greatest negotiator in the world, apparently. His value is now hovering around $1 million. Got it? The way he's paid and the way Arch Manning is paid, from the way it's reported, are completely opposite issues. Putting them together is asinine. And then there's Luther Campbell. So Arch Manning has another endorsement deal. Jeff, why would a guy with 2 starts against directional schools be worth $25 million? Well, because the market The real market, not the fake market of college football with sugar daddies handing you money. The real market of advertisers, the speculators just think it's worthwhile. I suspect it's partly because it's the biggest name in the sport. He comes from football royalty. He plays at Texas and he has a good smile. Middle America will like him. There. It's up to you if you want to pay him or not. It's the market. So here you go. He signed his first autograph memorabilia partnership with Panini America. It's an exclusive multi-year agreement that expands on his exclusive trading card deal with the company and is the latest in a series of deals for Panini. They've also signed Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. So, biggest names in the sport. Why would a guy with 2 starts be one of the biggest names in the sport? Because he has the last name Manning and he plays at Texas and has a good smile. There. That's why. Could they be getting it completely wrong? Absolutely. So here's what they're going to sell. You can decide if you want to pay the money or not. His first partnership began in 2023. That was a $100,000 deal. Now, you can start the bidding. You can get a Manning signed photo for $699.99, helmets at $999.99, and jerseys at $999.99. I don't know if it's worth it or not. You know what will happen if you don't bid? It'll go down. If a bunch of you bid, the price will go up. That's the way it's going to work. But he and probably Livy Dunn at LSU, because she's beautiful and blonde and a social media rock star, they are exactly what the whole NIL was supposed to be. And that whole market, the endorsement market, is full of risk and reward. Right? He's one of one in a football landscape, and advertisers are willing to pay millions for him to be the face of Uber, the face of Red Bull, the face of Viore, the face of Piani, or whatever it is. Yeah, they're going to pay that. He's football royalty. Now, if he flames out, now here's the interesting part that's a buzzkill. But Jeff, a guy with 2 starts, who would do that? Well, they would. That's who. What if he fizzles out? What if he doesn't perform well? That's their problem. What if he gets hurt? That's their problem. That's the way the market is supposed to work. There's very, very, very few college athletes. If you didn't have the name Manning, let's be honest, it wouldn't be worth this. But they think it is. So he's the market, and the way the market is supposed to work, there's just not much demand for other college athletes. The whole system has been used and hijacked by a bunch of sugar daddies to give money out, and now that's backfiring on everyone. So you can't compare the two, although today the controversy, whether he wanted it or not, doesn't matter. His name is Manning and he plays at Texas, so he's going to get involved in the controversy. The controversy today is, why is that guy making all the money? I've told you why he's making all the money. He's from football royalty. Why is Nico and the others aren't making that kind of money? There you go. So it's the risk these companies want to take. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If he hits, you've got a rock star pitching your products. You've got the name, you've got the school, you've got the smile, you've got a hit if it works. That is what NIL was supposed to be. An advertising transaction. NIL current form is not that. Jeff, did you mention Luther Campbell and 2 Live Crew? I did. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm dating myself, and I'm also, I guess, to some degree outing myself at one time in my life of really liking completely inappropriate rap lyrics. You got me. So, assuming I'm getting this Luther Campbell in Miami connected to the Luther Campbell of the group 2 Live Crew. 2 Live Crew is an interesting story by itself. I'm sure there's a documentary somewhere. And I do like the story because I do like people that are fearless, even if I'm not, I kind of like the music, even though it was really, really, really dirty and mean and awful. But I also like fearless people, and I think they should be left alone. 2 Live Crew, Here's a quick summary. This was a rap group in Miami, and they were not just shut down a few times because they were violating local code in terms of their performance. The lyrics, a lot of people argued, broke the law. Okay? And I believe at one time they were arrested and pretty much shut down and had no airplay whatsoever. I have no idea how long. They were sort of popular and probably more popular in South Florida, but it came and went fast because they just couldn't get airplay. Back in the old days, getting on the radio meant everything, and nobody was going to play their stuff because the lyrics were so dirty, nobody would go near it. And they were outspoken, and I thought had every right to make First Amendment arguments. I think they did. I think he did. He's not a stupid guy at all. And I found them to be very appealing. I like people that push back against the government trying to shut them down. So they became infamous that way. I have no idea where they've been all this time. I have no idea that Luther Campbell was thought of as a sort of voice of college football. I don't know if he hosts a show, but he's popular online. And he's pissed.
This makes sense. So everybody all over knows that the Tennessee quarterback wants to get paid amongst the highest paid quarterbacks in 2025. So make this make sense. Hey, look, I love the University of Maryland. I love the fact that Carson Beck is here, but he ain't throw a pass in the whole spring. Tulane quarterback goes to Duke and get $8 million. Arch Manning is the leading paid quarterback right now in the NCAA. And what did he do last year? Sit the bench. He's at the bench. Oh, because his name is Manning? Make it make sense. What is Beck getting, like $4 or $5 million? This man took his team to the playoff. All y'all for even questioning the fact that he's there and he's asking to be paid amongst the highest paid. Half of y'all running out on this social media, you know damn well if you were put in that position, you would be like, yo, I took my team to the playoff. I want to get paid amongst the best.
Yeah. Well, here I'm about to argue with Luther Campbell. Just saying this makes me kind of happy. Yeah, look, you're smarter than that. This is how this whole silly, stupid, illogical system has been hijacked by sugar daddies. Just watch the documentary in SMU football. This is what happens when rich guys, rich jock sniffers take over the sport. They like owning it, and they won't stop. Arch Manning, whether you agree that he's worth $25 million or not, and that's fine if you don't. Whether you agree that if you were Uber or Red Bull, you'd pay him $10 million or not, that's fine. He is, yes, because of his name, because of his smile, because of where he is. He's at the bluest of the blue blood, the richest of the rich. Hate it all you want. He is what the court case was supposed to be. He is an endorsement deal. Nico is a handout. If Nico wanted an endorsement deal, then go get an endorsement deal. And if Uber doesn't want to pay him, Uber doesn't pay him. It's weird to me, and I'm happy that everyone's arguing about this, and I'm happy that people are debating this because you're finally seeing exactly what some reasonable, thoughtful people have tried to say, that this is a total scam. This is a sugar daddy scam. And poor Nico is now on the losing end of it. But to compare the two is exactly what the difference in the slimy, scummy, rudderless industry of college football has become. So you can't, the timing of Arch Manning's deal, I don't know if it's smart or not. I'm sure they announced this because he's one of 3 clients and 2 of them are going into the NFL draft. So, I think the timing of it, him being thrown in the middle of this controversy saying, wait, why that guy and not that guy? And I think the reason why Panini, in a perfect world, I would think they would wait a little while, but they couldn't wait because Arch Manning is a client of theirs just like Travis Hunter, just like Shedeur Sanders. What they did was they tried to monopolize the biggest names in the sport. That's what they did. If I was in the card business, I'd do the same thing, and so would you. So he's thrown in the middle of it, and he's going to be asked, why are you making 20, 25 million bucks, or whatever the number is? Who knows? It's always inflated by agents. He's going to be asked multiple times. Why are you making all this money? Nico took his team to the playoffs. He's not making this money. What's up? And he's going to have to smile and give a very aw shucks answer. Or otherwise it'll start greater controversy. Why Luther was doing this commentary at a baseball game is beyond me. I don't know. Like I said, just didn't think I'd sit here today in April saying, man, I got a soft spot for 2 Live Crew, which at the time probably would have gotten me arrested just for saying I like them. That's how controversial it was back in, what do we want to say, or mid-'80s probably? Does that sound right? So I hate to fight with him because I think his path has been kind of cool and dangerous and fun, but he's got it all wrong just like everyone else has got it all wrong. So you can debate the two, but they're separate. You can debate the value of a $25 billion quarterback who's started 2 games against directional schools. Debate it all you want. Say, if I were a business, I'd never go there. But that's up to you. That's a separate argument. The path of Nico is the sugar daddy problem in college football, and the sugar daddies don't think he's worth that much, or the people he's calling on. That's the real problem that Nico, the former quarterback from Tennessee, is running into. Jobs may not be available at the sugar daddies with the deepest pockets. Texas, SMU. SMU is a great quarterback, by the way. Ohio State, maybe. And then Oregon, maybe. So those are the deepest pockets that can throw around, and we'll throw them out in the money. Miami, but they've got someone. They've already paid them. So yes, let me get this straight, Jeff. I've never heard of this 2 Live Crew. And what you're going to do is then you're going to go and you're going to Google them, and then you're going to play the music, and then you're going to flip out, or someone's going to hear it and go, what's wrong with you, misogynist jackass? You're going to say, Ward told me to listen to this. And that's kind of true. I'm not saying it's my thing these days, but back in my anarchist phase, I kind of liked them. So I'm happy to argue with the infamous Luther Campbell on a day in April.